And my Republican friends have had months and months and months to write a plan on inflation, and this is it. This bill, and I hesitate to call it a bill because honestly, this is really just a tweet or a press release. I mean, this is the plan, more paperwork, a report. People don't need a report to know inflation is a global problem. And you don't need a PhD in economics to know a book report isn't going to solve it. Democrats took aggressive action on inflation. We capped insulin at $35 for senior citizens. That's real. Reduced prescription drug prices for seniors. Ensured Big Pharma faces penalties when they try to price gouge, and went after big oil for price gouging. All things that I should point out that House Republicans actively voted against over the last 2 years. We secured over $300 billion in investments in U.S. manufacturing to move supply chains back to America, fought to lower food and fuel prices, made the most robust updates in 70 years to the Buy American Act to boost domestic manufacturing, passed the Ocean Shipping Reform Act to cut costs for American families and bring down shipping costs, oversaw the largest one-year decrease in the federal deficit in American history. And that's what Democrats did, and it's not perfect, and inflation is still too high, and greedy corporations are still jacking up costs. But there's a difference here, a very important difference. Democrats fought to lower inflation, to hold those at the top accountable, and boost manufacturing to bring down inflation for good. And Republicans, I mean, their big plan to fight inflation after months of waiting, after all this big buildup, is a book report. Their solution is blame Democrats, blame Biden, and that's all this bill is about. It's not a serious plan. It's a press release. Our second bill today is H.J. Res. 30. Last year, the Department of Labor clarified that environmental, social, and governance factors don't need to be treated differently when it comes to making investment decisions for retirement plans. Individuals submitted over 22,000 comments, and 97.4% supported the proposed rule. This is like using a hammer for surgery instead of a scalpel. And if my colleagues are so upset with this rule, might I suggest they bring actual legislation on this topic to the floor and not use a Congressional Review Act to hamstring future action by an agency. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to yield back my time.
Good evening, friends. President Biden is passing new bills. He is taking big action this week. The Biden administration has confirmed the next steps that the president will take to address inflation, taxes, and the U.S. debt ceiling. But many Democrats are urging against several of his proposed provisions. My friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, I will be announcing 2 winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway in a video later today. If you would like to enter the weekly giveaways, make sure, friends, that you click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. President Biden will trigger a fight over raising taxes when he introduces his budget plan next week, something that Senate Democrats, who face a tough road ahead to protect the majority, are not clamoring for, especially in West Virginia, Montana, and Arizona. Democrats campaigned on repealing the former president's tax cuts ahead of the 2020 election, but fell short after Senators Kyrsten Sinema and Senator Joe Manchin balked at key elements of Biden's tax plan, such as raising the corporate tax rate to 29% and the top marginal income tax rate to 28%. Talk of repealing any of the tax cuts before the 2024 election had fallen off the table, and Senate Democrats have recently steered clear of insisting that any deficit reduction plan that comes before Congress this year include big tax increases. Now, President Biden is putting the topic back in the national spotlight. Biden said, "I want to make it clear. I'm gonna raise some taxes, but no making less than $400,000 is going to pay a penny more in taxes." However, there is little desire among Democratic lawmakers on Capitol Hill to put vulnerable incumbents such as Kyrsten Sinema, Senator Joe Manchin, and Senator Jon Tester and Sherrod Brown. There is little desire among Democratic lawmakers on Capitol Hill to put vulnerable incumbents such as Senator Sinema, Manchin, Jon Tester, and Sherrod Brown in a tough political position where there is no chance of getting tax hikes through the Republican-controlled House. Senator Jon Tester, who announced his re-election plans last week, says he could favor proposals to increase tax equity, but he would not support anything that would raise taxes for lower and middle-class families. Tester said the possibility of a recession caused by rising interest rates is, of course, a reason to be cautious about raising taxes. Senate Democrat Debbie Stabenow, a member of the Democratic leadership and the Finance Committee, told The Hill, Democrats are mostly unified in opposition to adding any deficit reduction deal to legislation, which would raise a federal debt limit, which needs to pass before the August recess. Senator Manchin punched holes into Biden's tax plans in the last Congress by stating he would only support raising the corporate tax rate to 25% instead of the 28% level favored by Biden. He also shot down the president's plan to impose a 20% minimum tax on billionaires. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts about what's going on in our government? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. The number of people applying for unemployment benefits in the United States fell for the third straight week. That is good news for American workers, but potentially bad news in the fight against inflation by the Federal Reserve, which has been increasing its benchmark interest rate for 1 year in an effort to cool the U.S. economy, loosen the labor market, and tame inflation. Applications for jobless claims in the U.S. for the week ending February 25th fell to 190,000 from 192,000 the previous week. The Labor Department said that it's a seventh straight week that claims were under 200,000. Applications for unemployment benefits are considered a proxy for the number of layoffs in the U.S. In February, the Fed raised its main lending rate by 25 basis points, its eighth rate hike in less than a year. The central bank's benchmark rate is now in a range of 4.5% to 4.75%, its highest level in 15 years. The Fed's hawkish interest rate policy appeared to be slowing down, but recent data has suggested otherwise. The Fed's rate hikes have done little to cool a red-hot U.S. job market, which has put upward pressure on wages and, as a result, prices. Last month, the government reported that employers added a better-than-expected 517,000 jobs in January, and that the unemployment rate dipped to 3.4%. That was the lowest level since 1969. Though the U.S. labor market remains strong, layoffs have been mounting in the technology sector, where many companies overemployed after a crisis boom. Microsoft, Twitter, DoorDash, and Amazon have all announced layoffs in recent months. The real estate sector has also been battered by the Fed's interest rate hikes. Higher mortgage rates have slowed home sales for 12 straight months. That's almost in lockstep with the Fed's rate hikes that began last March. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. Thank you very, very much, dear friends, for joining me here every single day and for being part of this community. My friends, I will be announcing 2 winners in a video later today for the Walmart gift card giveaway. Please make sure you enter the giveaway by clicking and liking several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My dear friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you, friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed Friday.